She came home every day with bruises on her arms and a faraway look in her eyes. Her father thought she was being bullied, but the truth hidden inside her backpack would reveal something no one saw coming. Listen to today's story until the end, because you won't believe what was really happening at her school every day. Weston Park was quiet, the kind of suburb where problems were supposed to stay behind closed doors. Daniel Lane, a respected logistics businessman and widower, noticed a change in his 12-year-old daughter, Sophia. She came home from Willow Creek Middle School exhausted, sometimes with bruises on her knees or arms. Her once neat uniform would be scuffed and stained, her once bright eyes now distant. Before we move on, please let us know where you're listening from and do subscribe to our channel. Whenever he asked, she'd brush it off with a weak smile. "I just fell, Dad. It's nothing." But Daniel couldn't shake the feeling that something was very wrong. Sophia's longtime nanny, Margaret Maggie Benson, confirmed his fears. "She cries in the bathroom, thinks I don't hear her. She's hurting, Daniel. But she won't tell us." Daniel began greeting Sophia at the door each afternoon. He saw it with his own eyes. The moment she stepped into the house, it was like a burden fell from her shoulders. Her walk, her silence, her sighs, all signs of something deeper. Yet every conversation ended with a polite but empty, "I'm fine." One day, Daniel found Sophia's backpack thrown carelessly by the door. Maggie pointed to the torn strap, the muddy bottom, and the bent notebooks with pages curling from dampness. One of the zippers was frayed, and there were faint smudges of what looked like grass stains along the side. "This isn't just wear and tear," Maggie said quietly. Something was wrong. That night, haunted by worry, Daniel made a decision he never thought he would. He took an old tiny microphone from his office and sewed it into Sophia's backpack lining. He hated spying, but he had to know. He waited 2 days before listening. The recordings began as typical school sounds: laughter, doors creaking, chatter. Then a thud echoed through the recording. A sharp gasp followed. Then came a muffled whisper, trembling and urgent, don't touch." Daniel froze. His pulse quickened as the chilling realization took root. Something was happening to his daughter. Something beyond scraped knees and tired eyes. But what exactly? And why hadn't she said a word? On the second day of recordings, the truth shattered his assumptions like glass. The narrative he had built in his mind, that Sophia was a quiet, passive victim, crumbled in an instant. Sophia wasn't being bullied. She was protecting someone else and doing it with calm determination and quiet strength. "Enough. Leave him alone." "You've done this twice already," she said to a boy. "He started it," the boy snapped. "That's no reason to shove him. Back off." A scuffle, a gasp, and then another child's voice, "Thanks." Sophia replied, "Better me than you. Go to class." Daniel was speechless. The weight of realization settled heavily on his chest. His daughter, his quiet, thoughtful Sophia, was standing between bullies and their victims, day after day, taking the hits herself, not because she had to, but because she chose to. Out of principle, out of heart. He remembered Alyssa, his late wife. Her words to Sophia, "If someone's hurting, be the one who notices. Just be there." Now he saw it. Sophia had grown up absorbing those words. She had always tried to shield others. Even as a toddler, she'd console crying classmates. As a second grader, she'd stood up for a girl with a speech impediment. This was no accident. It was who she was. Daniel noticed something else. Sophia wasn't alone. One Friday, he saw her walking home with other kids, a boy named Ethan, girls named Mia and Natalie. They sat on a bench near school, sharing notes, discussing something intently. Later, he found her notebook, "How to help Darius feel safe during recess," "Who walks with Ava when she's sad," "Talk to Logan about speaking up in class." It wasn't just kindness. It was organized. Daniel approached the school principal, Karen Whitmore, a stern woman in her early 50s with a polished appearance. When Daniel expressed his growing concerns, her response was dismissive, calculated, as if she had rehearsed it many times before. "Kids will be kids. No bullying reports on file. My daughter has bruises because she stands between aggressors and victims. That's not drama. That's reality." Then maybe she's overly sensitive. Daniel left, furious. The system, bound by red tape and indifference, wouldn't protect her. But he could. He would. He wasn't sure how just yet, but something deep within him had shifted. He would no longer be a passive observer in his daughter's quiet fight for others. Days later, a handwritten letter arrived. "Your daughter is the bravest person I know. When I was locked in the janitor's closet, I thought no one would come, but she did. She opened the door. She said, 'Let's go home.' I don't fear the dark anymore, because I know she exists. No name, just a child's drawing of an open hand. That night Daniel showed Sophia the letter. Her eyes welled up and for a long moment she said nothing. She held the paper delicately, like it might tear under the weight of emotion. Sometimes I feel like no one sees it, that it doesn't matter, like I do all this and it just disappears. Daniel moved closer, his voice thick. It matters, Sophia. More than you know. It always has. The following day, Sophia was asked to speak at a school assembly. She agreed, but only if her group joined her. On stage, she said, "We are not heroes. We're just there when someone is scared. If someone cries, we sit with them. If they can't speak, we speak up, that's all." Her words changed the room. The applause was real. Teachers, parents, even skeptical students began to listen. The circle of support began to grow. Anonymous thank you notes filled the walls. Students volunteered to be kindness watchers. Daniel formed a group of like-minded parents, mothers and fathers who had noticed the same quiet changes in their children but hadn't known how to voice them. No more silence. They began meeting informally, sharing coffee, stories, and quiet worries in living rooms and over phone calls. Together, they backed their children, not just with words, but with visible support, presence at school events, and a unified message. We see what's happening, and we stand with those who choose kindness. Sophia never sought attention. She didn't crave applause or recognition. Her focus remained steady, on those around her, on the ones who still hesitated to speak, on the children too afraid to ask for help. But as weeks passed, her impact couldn't be ignored. Teachers whispered about the difference she had made. Students talked about her in quiet admiration, and eventually, the city took notice. Sophia and her team were nominated for a Civic Youth Honor, an award reserved for those who had made a lasting difference in the lives of others. When Daniel showed her the invitation, her face tensed. "I don't want to go," she said softly. "It's not mine, it's ours. I didn't do this alone. Without Ethan, Mia, Logan, there wouldn't be a circle at all." Daniel nodded, understanding. Together, they contacted the organizers. After hearing the full story, the committee agreed. On the day of the ceremony, Sophia walked on stage with 6 of her teammates. No spotlight speeches, no personal trophies. Just standing together, shoulder to shoulder, in quiet solidarity. They accepted the award not as individuals but as one voice, representing every child who chose kindness over cruelty. By spring, Sophia's school had changed, not through sweeping new policies or administrative mandates, but through something more powerful: presence. A quiet revolution of compassion had taken root. Students who once felt invisible were now being noticed. Acts of kindness, once rare, became part of the school's rhythm. One student wrote, "Now I know what it feels like to be seen. I'm not invisible anymore." Daniel read those words and felt a deep, quiet pride. He understood that this wasn't just Sophia's journey. It was a collective awakening. It was about every quiet protector who chose courage over silence. Every child who extended a hand instead of turning away. Every moment someone decided to care. And one father who nearly missed it all, until he slowed down, listened, and chose to truly see the quiet hero his daughter had become. If it were your child standing up for others in silence, would you notice the signs? Or would you too almost miss the quiet hero right in front of you? Please share your thoughts on Sophia's brave actions, and please do subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for listening to Storyline Narratives.